Ai. Ai. Pai kiti a koe anō. Pai kiti a koe.
Hi.
Lovely. Kia ora, Elizabeth. Iri hāpeti. Can you hear us, Elizabeth? Oh, yeah, hang on. She's got her finger up.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. Kia ora, tēnā koe.
Can you hear me now? No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
I don't think she can hear us. Oh, what happened there? Here's Paul. Tēnā koe, Paul. Morena.
Kia ora whaia, tēnā koe, tēnā koutou.
Can you hear me next time?
Kia ora, Kim.
Kim.
Tēnā koe, tēnā koe.
Tēnā koe.
Kei te pēhea koe, Kim.
Ka pai.
Ka pai, ka pai. Can you hear us, Elizabeth?
I can hear you. I just don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, now, right. Happens with
I
my
can
computer
hear you.
every now and then. Zoom decides not to pick up my audio.
Ah.
Morena.
Hi there.
Morena, Robin. Morena. Kei te pēhea koe?
Kei te pai. How do you say I'm very good?
Yeah, see the screen?
Hi, Nui.
Oh, it's on the artist right there. Kei te pai ora. No,
No, you can say kei te pai or kei te ora. So kei te pai is I'm good, or kei te ora is I'm well.
Oh, I see. Kei te pai and kei te ora.
Yeah, you don't have to do both. It's just
yeah,
one or the other.
kei te pai.
And I think they're good stock standard responses, really. You can't go wrong. The king from the kingitanga down in Waikato could come up to you and say, tēnā koe, Robin, kei te pēhea koe, and all you have to do is say, kei te pai.
Kei te pai. Just going to pull the blind. It's shining light in my eyes.
Kei te ora. Yeah, I need to do that. Here we go.
Somebody's out at the boulders. Looks exciting.
No, that's because you do not want to be looking at our garage. Walter has moved home, so I've had to move my office into the garage.
Oh.
And you don't want to be looking at it, so you get to see, today it's Muraki boulders. I have various photos from around New Zealand that I
why not?
pick each time.
Lovely. Tēnā pia ko iti te ropu. I'm just saying it's possible that we're only a small group this morning. Me tīmata tātou, engari me tīmata tātou, we will go ahead and start. I do just want to flag with you that at 11 o'clock I have to make a very prompt exit. I've got a ferry to catch, so just to let you know. But tēnā koutou katoa, pai ki te kitea koutou, anō. Tino hari taku ngākau ki te kitea. Koutou mō tēnei wā, nō reira e hoa mā tēnā koutou katoa. Lovely to see you all again. Lovely. And welcome. Welcome, Kim. You're new to our little rōpū, and Elizabeth. To you both, tēnā kōrua. No mai, haere mai ki tō tātou nei kaupapa. Welcome to our zui, our hui, today. Today, oh well, first, hang on, I'll get this thing to work. Will it work? No, I'll have to do it manually. Okay. It doesn't want to work either. Sorry, folks, just a sec. Let me try again. I'm just going to share the screen again. Me tīmata tātou, let us begin I roto I te karakia in prayer. Kia tau te rangi Māori e o te atua ki a koutou. And if you respond in the bold.
Atua koe manaki.
Kia noho a ihoa ki a koutou.
Ihoa koe te tiaki.
E ihoa to hungia mātou.
E te karai o hungia mātou.
E ihoa to hungia mātou. And together. E tō mātou matua I te rā. Kia tapu tō ingoa. Mai tō rangatira tāna.
Kia mi
Te whaia ki runga ki te whenua.
whenua
Kia
anō ki te rang home
Hungia mātou. E tāra
e a mu
mātou.
atu
Tātou hoki e nuru nei. I o te e hara.
honge ane
O hoki mātou e kawe ke
oe a oea ing o hoki te ara e tanga ki a me tōkau o a aki I aki āmini.
Kia whakanui a te āriki.
Kia a te a
Kia ora koutou. Kia ora koutou. This session, as you know, the next two sessions anyway, is to about Pepeha or Whakapapa. And I just want to unpack that a little bit for you. And Pepeha it's a noun. And it's a tribal saying or tribal motto, a proverb, you know, especially about a tribe or where you belong. And the word tribe doesn't necessarily mean ngā puhi or Ngāti Kahu or Te Rarawa or Tūhoi or Te Tairawhiti. Tribe means where you belong. So if you're from England, you belong to the English tribe. If you've got a Scottish background, you belong to the Scottish tribe. And it's a set form of words, and many of you already know that. A formulaic expression and a saying of the ancestors. So some people believe that it's actually about them and their children and their spouses, but you need to recognize your parents and your grandparents and where they come from as well. That's what a pepeha is. You don't have to go back too far. Don't make it hard for yourself. Your parents will be fine. It includes a figure of speech or a motto, slogan, set sayings known for their economy of words. I love that expression, the economy of words, and metaphors, encapsulating many Māori values and human characteristics. So it's not actually just about your bloodline. It includes your bloodline, but there's actually a little bit more to it. So I'm sort of trying to encourage you to know that it's not just this is my mountain, this is this, this is this, this is this, which is very, you can elaborate on that. You can talk about that. You can say to people, yes, I'm from here, but my father was Scottish. So you can tell your story in a more relaxed way. So it encapsulates the human characteristics of your family, particularly before you. Whakapapa, on the other hand, that's the other word. You hear them all the time. Pepeha and whakapapa, they are different. They're similar, but they're different. It's to recite in proper order. So that's when you simply just go through mountain, river, iwi or tribe, bang, 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 bang. There's no storytelling in Whakapapa, if I could put it that way. And it's a verb. Whakatauaki, there's two ways that they say this. Whakatauaki is, some of you would already know, it's our proverbs, it's our sayings. It's a significant saying and it's got really, really deep meaning. As you know, many of them. If you go on Google at any time, you can Google Whakatoki. If you go to images, I think that's the best thing to do. If you put in Whakatoki images, it'll give you hundreds of them in images. And then have a look at them and see how deep they are. But it is a proverb and it is a significant saying. It also comes under karakia or incantations. So they roll off the lips in a very lamenting way, often lamenting. Used in every occasion, happy occasions, honouring occasions, recognising and acknowledgement occasions, and tangi, funerals as well. The most common word is used, whakatauki, rather than whakatauaki. But like whakatauaki and Pepeha, they are essential ingredients to whai kōrero. Anyone know what a whai kōrero is? Oh, you're all muted. It's okay. Don't worry. We're going to find out. A whai kōrero is the oratory, the art of oratory. Often includes both the others, Pepeha and Whakapapa. And when you're really good at whai kōrero, and many are, there are some bad ones, by the way. They're not all good. Some of them are quite boring, actually. And some of them go on and on and on and on and on and on from when they were an atom. And that's okay, but there comes a time when you need to judge when is the proper time to elaborate and tell your story in a longer version, or whether to keep it short and succinct. So a good whai kōrero is someone that can take you through all the emotions. They can make you sad one minute, glad another. They can make you laugh. And then they can surprise you. Whoa, gosh. That is the art of a good orator. And it's a formal speech making used on all marae, as you know, and at all pōwhiri. And it's eloquent, using imagery and metaphors, which is in the whakatauki. When you use that type of speech making, like the whakatauki, you're telling the story, but not just bang, bang, bang. It's got poetry to it. It's relevant to your whakapapa and your pepeha. And references, of course, to your tribal history is admired. And that's where you get the, oh, you know, the surprises. People go, oh, I didn't know she was from Waikato, or I didn't know she was Ngāpuhi. Ooh. Particularly if they have a sort of a way of speaking Te Reo Māori, and I've already told you that there are nuances in the language. I know if someone's from the South Island, I know if someone's from the Waikato, I know if someone is from Gisborne by their language. And so when you hear them speak, and when you hear them refer to their tribal history or their parents or their grandparents, those are sort of like, oh, aha moments, aha moments. It's wonderful. And so the basic format, as you see, for a whai kōrero or a oratory presentation is usually a karakia. For us Christians, it's usually a Christian karakia. Māori who are not Christians necessarily, and by that I mean they don't come to church. That's all I mean. They don't come to church. So perhaps that's not the right expression, but they're not churchgoers. So their karakia is an incantation. It still gives acknowledgement to the Creator. They just use it. They use a slightly different language, and we've been through that before. There's an acknowledgement, of course, to the whare tūpuna, which is usually the marae. Acknowledgement to Mother Earth and all created things. Acknowledgement to the dead, to the hunga mate, and acknowledgement to the living, to the hunga ora. So that word ora, as you know, is about wellness. Well, mate is simply dead. And then your whai kōrero, you talk about why you're there. I've come to support the gathering. I've come to pay tribute to the dead, to the dead person. I've come to party. I've come to negotiate. So you normally would state what you're there for. And then near the end of the whai kōrero, of course, is a traditional waiata.
Cynthia, we will be providing this PowerPoint for everyone. Will we be sending it around as a resource?
Yeah, I will. I'll send it to you, and you can upload it.
Okay, that's
Sure.
good. I just didn't want everyone writing everything down frantic. It's better to listen.
Okay.
And then they can reread it or
Thank you.
watch later. Thank you.
Okay, me tīmata tātou. Tēnā koutou katoa. Kororia ki te matua, ki te tama, ki te wairua tapu. Mai I te tīmatanga, I tēnei wā, a haere ake nei. Āmene. Ko pangaru te maunga. Ko hokianga te moana. Ko ngā topi mata whaurua te waka. Ko ngā puhi te iwi. Ko Ngāti Kaharau me Ngāti Hau, ōku hapu. Ko te piti te marae. Ko Richard Tūhaia Kerepeti, ko Rawa ko Hohi Pene Whina te wake, ōku mātua tūpuna. Ko Reginald Murphy tōku matua, ko Morehu Kala Kerepeti tōku whaia. Ko Jacynthia Murphy ahau. E tuake au ki te mihi mahana ki a koutou katoa, ki te mihi aroha ki a koutou katoa. He tino honore te karoria ki te atua. Te kai homai o ngā mea katoa. He mihi atu ki ngā hunga mate. E ara ki ngā tūpuna I runga I te rangi Māori. Pēnei te mihi atu ki ngā rangatira I roto I te hāhi. E hoa mā, tino aroha taku mihi kia koutou katoa mō tēnei wā. Tino nui te honore ki te mahu atu kia koutou mo tēnei wā. Kia tau te rangi Māori e kia koutou. Nō reira, tēnā koutou katoa. Oh, I haven't shared the sound on this. Ki te reo tangi. Sorry about that, I didn't share the sound, I've realised. So that was my waiata. You've heard it before, those who have already been in sessions. Right at the very beginning, I went through my Pepeha and my Whakapapa. And this song was my waiata. And it talks about my yearning to go back to Hokianga. Always. Doesn't matter where I am in the world. I always yearn to hear the Hokianga. And the Hokianga, of course, is the returning place. And so I just took you through my Pepeha, my Whakapapa. And I did a whai kōrero at the end. That was my whai kōrero. But you'll see this in your, you'll be able to have a look at it. And then I ended. So that's your format for your very basic whakapapa. The whai kōrero, of course, included a little bit more of the storytelling about why we were there. Thanking you for being, me being amongst you. And then finishing. So the format is all there for a whakapapa. I just want to point out this bit here, Toku, Taku, Oku. Now, during my whakapapa, you heard me say, ko pangaru te maunga. That was my mountain. Ko pangaru te maunga. Now, Toku, the word Toku, T-O with a macron K-U, means that you had no choice, or you had nothing to do with the fact that that was your mountain. You did not make it happen. You had no control over that mountain being yours. It is yours because your parents must have gave birth to you, and that must have been their mountain. So when you use the word Toku, that's about having no control over something. So if it's a river, if it's an ocean, if it's a mountain, if it's all those things that you had no control over, you would use the word Toku. Taku, on the other hand, T-A-K-U, means you do have a choice. So you might refer that to your spouse. You might refer that to the place that you live now, that you want to acknowledge. Now I live in, Kainga, so your Kainga is your home. So, ko Tāmaki Makaurau Taku Kainga. I live in Auckland. You have a choice. That's the difference between Toku and Taku. I'm going to make it even easier for you shortly. But you can use Toku and you can use Taku. And I don't know if you noticed what I used all the way through, but I'll come to that. Oku, on the other hand, is plural. So if you're talking about, you would have heard me say, see the top one? Oku mātua tūpuna are my grandparents. So I'm referring to two people, not one. Whereas the one below my grandparents are my parents, so I introduced them separately. Reginald Murphy, tōku matua, I had no say in it. And Moruhu, Toku whaia. So there's the difference between oku. You can do it as an oku though. You can go ko Reginald Murphy rawa ko morehu oku matua me whaia. But that gets a little bit tricky. Up to you. And then you come down to yourself. Ko Jacinthia Murphy a ho. Ko Robin Williamson a ho. Ko Megan Means a ho. And of course, there's another, when you say Ingwa, my name, Ingwa, you had no say on that either. So you would have to use the word Toku, because you had no control. Unless you change it, some people do, then you can say Taku Ingwa, and I'm likely to ask you something over a cup of tea. Or did you change your name or something like that, if people were pedantic about it. So that's just the difference between tōku, taku, oku for your pepeha, whakapapa, whakatauki, and of course you finish with a waiata. Now the best, easiest way to avoid all the tōku, taku, oku, and all that sort of thing, particularly with the things that you have no control over, except your family, you know, I'll come to that. Use the word te, which is what I used. Ko pangaru te maunga. Ko hokianga te moana. You don't even have to put ko at the beginning. You don't have to keep saying ko. I did. So you can go ko pangaru te maunga, hokianga te moana, ngā toki mata whaurua te waka, ngā puhi te iwi, te hāhi mihingare, te iwi, te marae, whatever your church is. Petara, whatever your church is, you can put there. And that's your marae. So given that you don't have marae, in this case, because we belong to Te Hāhi Mihingare, I suggest that you use your church, your local church or your local parish, whatever that is. Won't be hard to find the translation for it. That will be your marae. But you would use the word, oh, and I haven't got it there, sorry, whare karakia, church. So that gets a lot of non-Māori that, you know, I haven't got a marae. Well, actually you do. You have places that you gather all the time. So if it was an RSL or if it was a, you know, one of the big clubs, the Lions Club, and they have a great big place where they gather all the time, that's your gathering place. Marae happens to be where Māori gather. So you do have gathering places. Now your whānau, of course, that's where it gets tricky, because it depends on how far back you want to go. I went back to my grandparents. My grandparents' maunga was Pangaru. I never continued to live in Pangaru, but I used Hokianga. I was still on the Hokianga, on the south side of Hokianga. That's still my moana. And so depending on how far you want to go back to your parents, but do acknowledge one, at least one back behind you. And then ko Jacinthia Murphy aho. Or if you want to use tōku ingoa, you can, but I'm just trying to make it easy. You get into the habit of just saying, I am Jacinthia Murphy. I am Megan Means. It's just an easier way to remember. Now, just coming to the maunga and stuff like that, or land or kainga, and I know you all live in Auckland. If there's a place where your parents were, if your parents are just, you know, Kiwi, New Zealanders, where were they? Where were they? So all you have to do really is acknowledge where they were when they were here, when they first came here. You might have moved, you might have gone to university and moved to Auckland, but you need to acknowledge them. They might have had a farm. They would have procured in some way or contributed to the life of the community wherever they were. You do need to actually acknowledge that. And then you can go on to say, here's a word, engari. We've gone over it in the past, engari, E-N-G-A-R-I, engari. So engari means but, ko tāmaki makoto, taku, so it's now taku, kainga. My home is now in Auckland. So I encourage you to go back at least one generation, and if they're from Auckland, well, kei te pai, ko tāmaki makoto. You don't even need to go to suburb. Tāmaki makoto is sufficient. Or Pōneke will tell us you're from Wellington. Or Tairāwhiti will tell us you're from Gisborne. Waka, that's a tricky one. If you don't feel comfortable because you didn't arrive on anything, just leave it out. Just leave it out. You don't need to have a waka. And if you delivered a flight number, you know, this is all part of that oratory. If you delivered a flight number and you did it in a funny way, you know, like there's a way in which you can deliver a flight number or a ship number and you'll get a laugh. And don't feel offended by that. Because what you want to do is take people through all those senses that I mentioned earlier. You want people to laugh. You want people to go, oh, and you want people to be saddened by whatever you're sharing with them appropriately. So if you feel comfortable about, and you can use English, you can put in the English. Call flight Air New Zealand NZ 831 Te Waka. You know, and if you put a bit of animation with it, people will laugh. It's up to you how vulnerable you feel about that. And your nationality, of course. Ngāti Pākehā is probably the most commonly used by non-Māori. Ngāti Pākehā. But if you're from Scotland, or Ireland, or Inorangi, England, Ahitereiria, Australia, and so on, you'll be able to look those up. Then that's your iwi. You need to acknowledge your spouse because you're going to go on to your children, I would think, because they're part of you. So call whoever your spouse's name is. You did have a choice in the matter, so it's Taku, not Toku. Call spouse's name Taku Hoa Rangatira. Doesn't matter whether it's male or female. Your esteemed friend. That's what that means. Esteemed friend. But everybody knows, and sometimes it's not actually a marriage, but it is someone they have committed their life to. Hoa Rangatira. And then from there, call whoever your children are. Call Brent, Rawa, or Sarah, call, and however many, Oku, Tamariki. If it's only one child that you have, then it's Taku. So Oku is plural. Taku, you wouldn't use the word tamariki. Tamariki means children. So if it's a boy, it's tamaiti. If it's a girl, it's kōtiro. So if it's only one, ko Jacinthia Taku kōtiro. Ko Jacinthia rawa ko Megan oku tamariki. Ko Megan ahau, ko Kim ahau. And give your full name. So now everybody knows who your parents are, who your grandparents are. They know who your wife is, or your spouse, or your husband. They also know who your children are. You can even go one further, mokopuna. You probably heard that expression, grandchildren. Mokopuna. And you don't need to put a gender on it when you start drilling down that far. Just mokopuna for all of them. And everyone knows that they're your grandchildren. If you want to go there, you have the freedom to do so. And of course, there's the waiata, or the waiata that we sung. And some of those waiata, I mean, I don't know how you're going to go about unpacking your Whakapapa Pepeha at the collaborative hui. There's only so many songs, I guess. I mean, they don't want to hear Mā Te Māori 12 times, probably. You probably wouldn't feel comfortable if you were speaker number 9. Don't fret. It doesn't have to be in Te Reo Māori. Sing an English song.
I think we were going to sort of do 20 to 30 minutes of Pepeha and then sing a waiata. But we had sort of got to do it a little bit different, otherwise, as you say, we'll have too many.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, so, sorry, so you're going to go, each one of you is going to speak?
So there'll be about, a group of about 6 of us will speak, and then we'll all sing a waiata, and then do the next one. Yeah,
of course, I'm sorry. You probably briefed. Thank you, Megan. You probably briefed me on that and I forgot.
No, okay. I only just found out myself.
Okay, well, of course, there's Tamanako Māori on page 174, and you know that one. Can I have a nod if you know it? Mā Te Māori, do you know that one? Yes. Yes. And then, of course, there's the one that I've taught you since in our Taha Māori sessions, e toru ngā mea. And te aroha. It doesn't hurt to have a little kete of waiata. You never know, particularly, I mean, some of you are at a 5-day hui. There's going to be all sorts of reasons why you need to have a kete of waiata. But don't feel pressured all the time to sing one in Te Reo Māori. It's okay. Sing an English one.
Yeah, we have a waiata book prepared.
Yeah,
so we're going to add some Pacifica songs in there as well. So there's a selection there. No one's going to have to sing on their own. So we will be doing
lovely. Okay. Okay, just sorry, I don't mean to scare you all.
No, yeah, that's right. It's easy. It's okay. But
as I say, it does. You know, if you're not in an LSM environment and you're out there and there's a opportunity for you to get up and do your pepeha, or someone will go, oh, can you introduce yourself? But you're not actually in any hahi gathering. You're on your own. And so it still pays to have that sort of, that real, that pepeha whakapapa really locked down, because it never changes. The only thing that changes is if you have more kids or if you have more mokopuna. Or you might have to change the name of your spouse if that happens. But it doesn't change. Your grandparents don't change. Your parents don't change. You don't change. But after you, there could be changes. So it's stock standard. Lock it down so that you know what it is when someone says, would you mind introducing yourselves? Blow them away. Do it in Te Reo Māori. You know what it means, so then you can go to English. You can go backwards and forwards, depending on your environment and your context. But Mata Māori is in your songbook, Megan? Yes. Tamanako Māori is there too, eh? Yeah, they're certainly in the prayer book. And Te Toru Ngā Mea, that's one that we've learned from Taha Māori, and Te Aroha Te Whakapono. And so we know this one. Mate Maria, Te Atua, Taku Katoa, E Tiaki, Mana Ano E Whaka O Tata Naka Ki Te Whai Mate Atua Tamai Tira Mate Wairua Tapu Hoki Rata Atua Kota Hine Taku Katoa E Whakapoi Amen. That's a beautiful one. Makes me all thingy. I get all warm and fuzzy. Doesn't matter how many times I sing it and how many times I hear it. Because it's so well known. I grew up with it. So that's, that's one of the ones which is good to sing, particularly in your gathering where it's Te Hahi Mihingari. Honouring the God the Father, the Son and the Holy Spirit. And everything that make our hearts good. Bring our hearts to a good place. And make us one. And make us good with each other, all of us. Beautiful. And this is the one that I taught you fellas, and I think you'll find it on a couple of the previous recordings that we've done. But if I do it again now, you'll be able to at least just go to the Pepeha one and learn it that way. So, and it's just really repeating. So only your leader really should have a piece of paper, whoever's leading the Himene. So you don't all need to stand up with a piece of paper if you can't remember the words, just the leader, and just follow the leader. So you need to listen and just repeat after the leader. Nothing more is expected of you for this one. So it's quite an easy one to use, but it's beautiful because there are three things that the Bible tells us. Faith, hope, and the most important of these is love. So if you're able to remember this one, it's really good. And whoever you choose to lead it, you do need a leader. Oh, I suppose 2 or 3 of you could lead, really, and then, or half and half. Hey, Kia koutou te kaupapa. Up to you, fellas. E toru ngā mea, e toru ngā mea, ngā mea nunui, ngā mea nunui. E ki ana, te pai pera, whakapono, whakapono, tūmanako, ko te mea nui, ko te mea nui, ko te aroha, ko te aroha. So, unless you're leading it, try not to get up with pieces of paper. You'll impress people. So only, not that you're there to impress people, but it's one that, you know, many people can do, and there's a sense of confidence. People just look at you and go, wow, look at that. How confident are they? Wow, and listen to that leader. So that's a really, really good waiata as well. So if there's another opportunity perhaps for the group to get up in waiata, that's another one for you to pull out of your kete, as it were. I think most of you already know this one. It's in the book, I'm sure. Is there toru ngā mea in your book, Megan?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Yes. I've got to put this one in.
Good. And you already know this one. Te aroha, te whakapono, me te rangi Māori e tātou e. Love, faith, and peace for all of us. Totality. Remember, tātou is total. Everybody. Mātou minus the people you are speaking to. Rātou means the rest of them. Those fellas over there. Good little recipe to remember. I keep bringing it up every now and again, but you'll get your tātou, mātou, rātou right. People will know what you're saying. So in this case, it's for all of us. So in your greetings at the end, you know, I went tēnā koutou, nō reira, tēnā koutou, and then you would normally say tēnā koutou katoa. When you get a little bit more confident, you can then say nō reira, tēnā koutou, kia ora mai tātou. So that's a more confident way of doing the same thing, but it says it differently. So the koutou, of course, is you're saying you. Wellness to you, be well to you, be well to you. But when you say kia ora mai tātou, means you include yourself. Everybody. You become one with the people that you're gathered with. And of course, you know, the whole thing about pōwhiri, marae, and whai kōrero, whakapapa, and all of that is all about making us one. Ko tahitanga. Both in traditional Māori culture and in our hahi. To be one. And to be one is tātou, tātou katoa, totality. I wonder if I could open up for some questions. Does anyone have any questions for me? You can unmute yourself.
Kia ora, Jacinthia.
Kia ora, Kim.
I was just wanting to know, when you're listing the grandparents, do you do both maternal and paternal?
Yes, I think if you, so in my case, what I did was I did them both at the same time.
Okay.
And what that does is it just means you don't have to unpack each one of them, if you know what I mean. It's an easier way of doing it.
Yeah.
oku mātua tupuna, grandparents.
Okay. Because it would get
No.
quite tricky if you did your mother's mother and father and then your father's mother and father.
Yes.
It would take a while.
And yes, it would. Yes, it would. And there's a place for that.
Mm-hmm.
But usually in a big gathering or a gathering on a marae, you wouldn't unpack it that far. You would just give your grandparents as one introduction, and oku being plural, oku mātua tupuna. Then they know, you know, you've already said their names, both of them. And then when you drill down, you don't have to go separately, but I did in this case. So I talked about my father first, and then my mother, and then me.
Yep.
And I don't have children, and I'm not married, so I didn't have to go on.
Mm-hmm.
It stops at me. I'm a handful already. I have trouble with myself, let alone any kids. But for you, the expressions are there in those slides about, you know, your horangatira, your spouse, your tamariki, and then one further would be mokopuna.
Yep. Thank you.
And I would include them if I was you, as long as it's not a big long list.
Yep.
You know, you may even want to mention, instead of mentioning names for your mokopuna, you might just want to say, I have 10 grandchildren. Oh, of course, everybody here is way too young to have 10 grandchildren. So you could actually just say, I have, you know, e te kau mā rua, 12, e te kau mā rua, oku mokopuna.
I want to ask a couple of questions, just Cynthia, if I can. The first one is, I first did this when I was at Teachers College, and at that stage in our group, we were all kind of given a Māori name. So like mine was Rapana, which is, and is it appropriate to use that kind of thing or not really? Or
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I have a son, William, so he could be
William. Aye.
What about Sam? What's Sam as a
Hami.
Hami is Sam, yeah. And the other
Two
thing I
A's,
wanted to
H-A-A-M-I, Hami.
H-A-A-M. And the other thing I was going to ask was, like, I'm not sure what to use as my maunga. Like, my parents came from Christchurch, but I never lived there. I was born in Mirupara in the Urewa, but we lived there for 6 months. You know, most of my growing up life was in Wellington, near Mount Koko. Now I'm in Whangarei. I mean, what would I use as my mountain?
I would, yeah, that's a good question. Or Tautahi, of course, is Christchurch, or Tautahi. How long were you in Porniki? Or Tautahi.
Oh, how do you spell that?
If you Google it, Google it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or Tautahi.
So would I use Christchurch or?
You can. Or how long were you in Porniki for, in Wellington?
Well, most of all my growing up and going to school, and most of my life has been Wellington, really.
Yeah. So you wouldn't use a maunga in that case?
Oh, yeah.
You would use kainga. Kainga. So you can say, ko o tautahi te kainga oku, you know, oku matua, oku whaia. So that means my parents were there.
Mm. And could I name them at that point, or?
Yeah, you could. You could. Yes, you could, because that distinguishes that they were there. And then you would move to Porniki.
Ko Porniki.
Ko Porniki te kura. I went to school there.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of introducing different things that are. It doesn't have to be that format of maunga. You know, don't restrict yourself to that format, because it's you telling your story.
Yeah.
And we have to accept it.
So if I said ko o tautahi te kainga oku mātou, and would I just put their names then, or do I have to say something before I said their names? Like I said Douglas and Margaret.
Well, the maunga comes before them, so yeah, I would put their names there. And then when it comes to you, you can, just before you introduce yourself, you can then talk about pōneke, pōneke te kura. I went to school there. You don't need to talk about work.
No, but I work there too.
Yeah. Ko whangarei, taku kāinga, i nāia nei. I now live in whangarei. So you would introduce pōneke and whangarei together as your kāinga.
Yeah. Taku kāinga, it was an NRE, and now.
Yeah, i nāia nei. I nāia nei.
Oh, no, okay. Yeah, cool. Thank you.
So they know that you've traversed from Ōtautahi, pōneke, whangarei. And they're the main ones. You wouldn't talk about murupara or any of that. And you don't even have to talk about pōneke.
Well, it was a big part of my life, really. So.
Yes. Okay. So not necessarily a maunga, as it were.
Yeah, okay.
And I think that's always been a challenge for non-Māori, is that, you know, they go, well, I haven't got a maunga. So they feel that they haven't got a whakapapa or pepeha. I totally refute that. I totally refute it. You have an ancestry, and it's yours. It's no one else's.
Yeah.
It's yours.
And I know that I looked this up when my niece was doing this, that one of my ancestors came on a ship called the Wild Deer. Would it be appropriate to put that in as a waka, or just leave it out? Yeah.
Well, it's up to you whether you want to do that.
It's not particularly relevant to me personally. But
You would have to judge your setting, I think. You know,
that's right.
If you felt that the information might be helpful to acquainting yourselves at a deeper level, which you might want to do, and then what generally happens is during a cup of tea or a kai, people will come and sit next to you. My grandparents came over on that ship too, or it's about really reading the hui.
Yeah.
Reading it well. So Māori have a tendency to get quite we do drill down, but it's likely that if you go back 3 or 4 generations, we're all related. You know, and sometimes you don't even know. Like, I mean, Bishop Kittle, boy, you want to hear his illustrious ancestry. He's related to everybody. It's so funny. We give him a hard time. He's got a relation in every part of the motu, right throughout Aotearoa, New Zealand, and possibly even overseas. But he because he knows his whakapapa and Pepeha so well, he can pretty much tie himself to many people. But it doesn't mean you have to do that. So I think in a hui like collaborative, you know, keep it as simple as possible. People want to know where you live now, particularly, but they also want to hear a little bit about your parents and possibly your grandparents and where they were. Where were they? And like you say, Robin, or Ōtautahi in Christchurch. So they'll know that you're a South Islander. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. In a Pepeha, there's a reason that our name is last, isn't there? You know, we're acknowledging the land or the creation first. Is that right? And so, you know, we're working logically through things because we are the least, but apart.
That's right. And we are not who we are without it.
Yeah.
We're nothing without it, really. So you have to acknowledge the toto, or the blood that runs through your veins. That's the most succinct way for me to put it. You must acknowledge the toto, the blood that runs through your veins. And if you've got Scottish in you or Irish in you, then acknowledge it. I mean, I'm a Murphy. What does that tell you? If I go back, it's from my father. Yes, Paul. You need to unmute. Sorry, you need to unmute.
How do you say Ireland or Scotland in Te Reo?
That's a good question. I haven't even looked it up, to be honest. You'll have to look it up.
Okay. No worries. And grandmother,
Sorry, aroha mai.
if I want to do grandmother, because matua tupuna would just be grandfather. You say whaia tupuna or for grandmother?
Yep, whaia tupuna, matua tupuna. That's right. So that distinguishes a male and female. Matua is male, whaia is female. Yep, perfect. But when you put a macron on it, so matua without a macron means a male. When you put a macron on it, it means it's genderless, actually, if I could put it that way. I don't quite know if that's the right sort of expression, but so I used it as oku mātua tupuna, so it means both of them. Takes away the gender.
Okay.
Someone, if you ask someone else, they might go, oh no, it's male, but I don't think so. How can you give your grandmother as a mātua? You can't. She's female. So yeah, it's the difference between a macron. So when you're using both of them in your pepeha in one hit, it's mātua. If you're just going to do your grandfather first and your father, matua. And it even sounds different. Matua and mātua.
Thank you.
I just think there, can I just talk about mātua tapuna? So there is both grandmother and grandfather?
Correct, with the macron.
Yeah, thank you.
And you'll always need to use the oku in front of it. So they all go together, oku, mātua, tupuna, because there's two people. You're not talking about a singular. Even though the mātua does indicate that, but it doesn't sit by itself. I could put it that way. I am going to have to love you and leave you. That just told me. I know it's a lot to take in, but next week, if we have a shot at it, have a go at it. So in this next coming week, if you could put something together, and I think if we come in and just go straight into it after krakia, I won't unpack it again. Let's go straight into it. We'll each have a go, and I'll help you hone it. You know, I'll talk you through it, and we'll hone it down so that, and we're all together, so we all learn from the same sort of explanatories, if you like, and then it's just a matter of you going away and practicing and practicing and practicing. That will be next week, because the following week on the 23rd we have Bishop Kittle, and he's talking about the depth of the liturgy in the prayer book. So it won't have anything to do with Pepeha at all. So you'll have a good, 2 or 3 weeks to practice your Pepeha. But next week, if you come back with something prepared based on what we've learned, and I'll help you as much as possible, and you'll learn more. And then once you've got it down packed, just go away and learn it in that couple of weeks. Come collaborative hui, bam.
Already hui. Lovely.
So, nō reira e hoa mā, tēnei te taima, e haere ana hau. It's always been a pleasure to serve you in this way, and I do look forward to catching up with you next week. I'm sorry I do have to rush off.
Kia ora.
Kōrero, ake, tonu, kōrero tonu. Ka kite anō, kia tau te rangi Māori kia koutou. Kia tau te rangi Māori kia koutou. So I'm going, I can't end. I need to make you host, I think. Let me make you host.
You should just leave the meeting yourself, I think.
No, because it's telling me to end.
Okay. Well, folks.
Okay.
No. I can change you over.